Still, they couldn't help wishing that the baby was a little less of a squalor. But not for Adelia's sake. It was just because Hero had to be stuck in the company of the little creature all day and all night, and their sanity was suffering from the constant barrage of noise. Hero started to stand, but a flash of pain above their navel knocked them back and they sat hard. They yanked the hem of their shirt up and pressed a wet hand to the fat rope of scar tissue there, feeling for the unbroken skin. There was the scar, and they looked down at their hand and confirmed that no blood filled the creases in their palm. "It's okay," they whispered to themselves. "It's okay. It's just a phantom pain. You're fine." They sat there on the pebbly sand with their palm braced against their belly. They were fine. But the fine was so new. This was the first day that Hero could truly say they felt healed, and even that was tentative, raw. The wound was relatively fresh, in more ways than one. It was the wound that Adelia had given to Hero just a few weeks before Isabel's birth. Hero took a slow, deep breath and took their hand away from their stomach, letting the hem fall back into place. In the distance, the baby had stopped screaming. A clutch of ducks drifted silently by on the water, a welcome signal that the ferals, who would have eaten anything that moved too slowly back on the Harriet, hadn't made it to the Catahoula yet. The night was almost peaceful now. Hero closed their eyes and tried to remember the last time they'd felt almost peaceful. The day that a handsome man rode up to their door, astride a pitch-black hippo, and asked if they'd like to join him for one last job. They'd said yes at the time. They would have said yes again in a heartbeat. But Hero hadn't seen Winslow Houndstooth since the night before Adelia's knife had made that scar on their belly, since her knife had nearly killed them. Hero fidgeted with the third button down on their shirt. They wouldn't unbutton it to feel the scar there, the twin of the one on their stomach. "It hasn't disappeared since the last time you looked at it," they told themselves irritably. But it bothered them, and they fidgeted in earnest as they went over the questions they'd been asking every day since they'd woken up. It didn't make any sense. Hero liked things that made sense. They liked diagrams and switches and sensible arrangements of wires. They liked dosages and measurements and titrations. Adelia was a thicket, a tangle of intentions and motivations that Hero really could have done without. But they had to figure it out. Adelia could have killed Hero so easily, but instead, her knives had struck the only places on Hero's body that could look mortal without actually killing them. Hero knew the exact amount of coral snake venom required to make a person quietly suffocate due to paralysis, and Adelia knew exactly where to aim her weapons. Both of them had too much experience to make stupid mistakes that would let a target walk away. Hero knew that they'd been allowed to live intentionally. They just didn't know why. Hero had woken up with no idea where they were, and there was Adelia, changing the bandage on their abdomen with steady hands and intent focus. Hero had tried to startle away from the woman who had stabbed them, but a white-hot stripe of pain had flattened them before they could move. It took them weeks to recover, weeks of Adelia's focused attention and care. Whenever Hero tried to ask why Adelia hadn't killed them, she pursed her lips and changed the subject. And then Isabel had come, and there hadn't been room to keep asking. And Hero had kept on healing, had kept on slowly recovering. They'd helped with the baby here and there, although they didn't know much of anything about babies and didn't care to learn. And the pain in their belly had faded. Hero dug their hands into the coarse sand and watched the still surface of the water. The pain in their belly had faded, and Adelia had recovered from Isabel's birth. It was time to leave. They knew it, had been thinking about it all day. They would tell Adelia that night, after the baby was asleep. It was settled. Hero would be gone by daybreak. But where? Home? Back to their little...